Welcome back to Bike Builds with AC. Today I'm going to show you how to turn your beat exhaust system into one that looks factory fresh. So what we have here are the exhaust components that we're going to reuse for the Hawk. One of my favorite things to do with pieces is refurb them to a like-new condition, because most of the time the person seeing it will never be able to tell. We're working with stainless components here. You can tell it's stainless versus mild steel because it's non-magnetic, and we're going to bring this to a bright brushed finish. Now you can achieve this multiple different ways. You can do it with a hand pad with a lot of elbow grease, as they would say. And I quickly evolved from that to using a drill with a Scotch-Brite attachment, which makes the job even more painless. And then now I've gotten to the point where I actually use a disc on a buffer so I can make long passes and make a lot of work just with a little bit of effort. Each one of those is progressively faster, but there's just a couple steps along the way in making this process pretty painless, where you can get an incredible result, basically making what we have here look like a brand new exhaust system. The first step for me, this has 30 some odd years of use on it, so what I'm gonna do is get everything cleaned and degreased. You can use any degreaser to do this, or brake cleaner, but since I have a parts washer, I'm gonna use that for this application. As this piece connects to this piece, connects to this piece, you're gonna wanna do them directionally so they look in line, not vertical on this way, horizontal like this. So think about that before you start sanding your grain. At the tail end, usually what I'll do is this just seems to give it a little extra sheen. Put a little WD on your Scotch-Brite pad. You can also use cutting fluid if you have that available, and give it its last lap. It's also good to leave the oil on there as a little protectant from thumbprints and oxidation as you're assembling. All right, that's the progress. So the next piece we're gonna be refinishing is this Y-pipe here. We're gonna step it up on speed a little bit. Same deal, you can do it by hand, but it's just gonna take forever. So what I'm gonna do on this one, this is just a Scotch-Brite attachment you can get for a drill. You can get them in a barrel, you can get them in a ball end, or in a situation when you're gonna need to get in between something like this helps. Any big box hardware store should have something like this. Some drills have multiple speeds, but the most important thing is to find a speed where it's not bouncing around, just where you can get a good consistent pressure on it. So with this one, just like this. Again, WD-40, always being intentional with the direction, especially on the last process where you're cutting your grain. All right, this is always one of the parts that I enjoy the most. It goes from this to that. So you can see the transition we're starting to make just in the base hue of what color the exhaust is going to be. And you can take this further and further if you had stainless polish or if you wanted to wet sand down, but I like this brush look. And it's easy to touch up maintenance-wise, so this is about the sheen that I leave my stainless exhaust systems with. This right here is a low-speed bench grinder, and it makes this job a breeze. And I spent a long time doing this by hand, and an even longer time doing it with a drill. And when I found out about this setup, it really changed things. So right here, we have the header pipe for the Hawk, and it's about to get a complete makeover, but in a rapid period of time. The best modifications in a bike build are the ones you can do for free. It looks exactly how I want it to, perfect brush sheen with a little bit of polish, and it's gonna look awesome on the Hawk. Here's the before, and here's the after. This is a stainless steel race exhaust at this point. And then last step is always, especially before you start the bike, because you can totally burn your thumbprints in. Keep it lubed up and oiled, let it smoke off in the first heat cycle. If you have a little time and effort, you can basically do this for free and then make a huge upgrade on how your current ride or your project build is going.